tell you where the fish are.
Triple! Get in there!
Tell you where the
That's
fish
a nice fish.
are.
Yeah, man.
I tell you where the fish are.
Woo!
Make it clear.
Hey everybody, Chris Schaefer of Pautzke Outdoors. We're back doing catfishing today. We're going after blue cats today with Redbeard Cats Guide Service, and we're not far from the greater Raleigh-Durham area, right here on Lake Gaston, a place where 150,000 people live and that borders the Virginia, North Carolina area. And guess what? We're gonna go after blue cats today with Pautzke Catfish Nectar, something you guys have seen us do many times. We're gonna show you that when conditions are rough, good bait and well-scented bait can keep you in the action. Let's see how we do.
We got one.
It's not a big one, but we need to get the skunk out of the boat, so.
Don't feel bad now all of a sudden. Oh.
Maybe a striped bass or something. Catfish. Barely.
Oh, man. My first catfish in North Carolina. This is a nice one. We don't catch these in Wisconsin. Say goodbye. I wasn't expecting that.
You should have no trouble getting it.
Better? Feels better?
Yeah, he's better than that last one.
Oh yeah, I see him. Oh yeah, he's way better than the last one. Oh, yes sir.
Good man, right there.
Woo, yeah. Nice.
And he's got some other lines too.
Don't get off, buddy. Don't get off.
He's rolled up in the lines. Let's see if he can get up on the side.
Come on, big boy, you got him.
Out here on Gaston Lake. It's been a tough day, but it finally paid off. Got one pretty good fish. Seem to be getting on the pattern now, so I'm hoping we can stay on it and catch a couple more like this. But nice old blue cat. You can tell he's old by all the discoloration on his head. This is a male. He looks like he's got some scars on his head from fighting over the years, but nice fish. All right, so we're just gonna talk a little bit about the bait we're using today. So I've got a cooler full of goods here. I went out yesterday, I caught everything from gizzard shad, caught some crappie. You can see this big carp I've got here, I've diced him up. I put those in the cooler yesterday, went ahead and squirted a bottle of Catfish Nectar in there. You can see everything soaked up, the flavor, the smell's really good. So I'm just gonna transfer this crappie here over to the cutting board. I usually cut these into kind of what I call bite-sized chunks, but bite size is all relative to the size of the catfish, I guess. Whatever I don't use here on the cutting board, I will go ahead and just, I put these on the hook, and then whatever I don't use, I just toss them back right into the mix here and let that soak while we're fishing.
I ain't messing around.
Catfish like moving water. They're native to the Mississippi River, these blue catfish that we're fishing for today. So that constant flow of water coming through here just really turns the big fish on, and it creates a good habitat for them. So this is probably the best catfishing lake in North Carolina. The current North Carolina state record came out of this lake. Actually, the last 3 records have came out of this lake. So that speaks to, for a long time, us catfishermen said that this was the best kept secret in North Carolina for catfishing, but the cat's out of the bag now, so to speak. So everybody knows this is where you come if you want to catch a big fish.
This was the second one of the day. Not the biggest, but I'll take it. Not as big as the last one. I'll make her look big though. She fought like a big one.
So I've got my rod here. I've got a 7'6" Big Cat Fever medium heavy rod. It's perfect. It's got a soft tip. Loads up nice when the catfish hit it, but it's got enough backbone it can handle a big fish. I've got a Akuma Classic Pro. This is the 150 series, but you know, you can use up to the 300 class series. They all work great for catfishing. For the line here, I've got 30-pound main line. That is by a company called Slime Line. You can see it's really high visibility, so that helps out when you're drifting multiple baits. You need to be able to see your line, and it's really nice and abrasion resistant because there is a lot of structure here in Gaston. Down on the business end of the line, I have a homemade slinky weight there. That really all that is lead shot that I put into some heat shrink tubing and sealed it up on both ends. Put a little hole in the top. I've attached that to a 3-way swivel. I use a 50-pound mono leader, and I put a peg float about 4 inches above the hook, which is a 10-aught circle hook. And make sure you snell that hook because that'll help with your hookups a lot when you're fishing circle hooks. So nothing too fancy. That's your standard, what we call a Santee rig or a drift rig. It's become a really popular way to catch catfish because you don't sit in one spot, put all your eggs in one basket, you stay moving. This time of year it's September, so the fish are in transition, they're moving. So if you sit in one spot, you're really limiting yourself. You drift, you cover a lot of water, you catch a lot more fish.
I'm trying, he's a nice one.
You got one?
Yeah, I got one.
You swimming right at the boat?
Maybe I got a Chinook. Oh, he ain't a bad one.
Today's episode of Pautzke Outdoors comes to you from North Carolina. We're only about an hour from the greater Raleigh area, and we're on Lake Gaston. And what do you know, somehow again, the weather and Mother Nature is messing with us a little bit. You know, when we flew in and landed in Raleigh, conditions were fair, and all of a sudden Hurricane Maria, boy, it's starting to brush up against the North Carolina shore. And what that done to us today is it's brought in winds, it's brought in crosswinds, it's got the barometer yo-yoing, and it's got the fish kind of a little bit confused. Fortunately, Redbeard Cat Guide Service has some great bait for us today, marinated in Pautzke Catfish Nectar, which is enabling us to stay in the bite and get some quality fish to bite even when conditions are not great.